Holy crap. Lucas, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo saying 80. Hey, Lucas, appreciate you for the love. That's incredibly kind of you. What's going on tonight, Stippler? Do you support Trump?
Yes. How you doing, Dean?
I'm doing phenomenal. And how old are you?
38.
You're 38. You support Trump. Okay, well, I think the pressing question on everybody's mind today is how can you support Trump after the BBB just passed through both the Senate and the House, which is expected to take away healthcare benefits from 17 million Americans, put the SNAP benefits at risk for 11 million Americans, while defunding student aid such as the Pell Grant for millions of Americans as well.
So I'm in the tax bracket that would actually pay lower taxes, so it benefits me.
Okay, all right, man. I get that. It benefits you, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt a lot of other people. And I think that
A
we
lot
could
of
agree.
things hurt a lot of other people.
But I think that we could agree that, being able to take home like a couple hundred extra dollars per year at the expense of, just destroying the lives of millions of people is like a terribly cruel decision.
However, both our beliefs destroy the lives of many people. You guys believe in systemortion, and I believe that destroys millions of lives too.
Okay, so you want to now pivot onto debating abortion. Listen,
No, I don't want to pivot. I'm just saying we both believe in things that destroy a lot of lives.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously, my response here is that I actually think that abortion is good. For the qualities of lives of individuals in this country, and I don't think that it's morally wrong. One moment, I don't think that it's morally wrong to kill the fetus. But I mean, if you're like more so critique is to say that, while you do think it's morally wrong to kill the fetus, and that's destroying lives, we could have that debate. But hopefully, like we're not gonna like disagree on like the moral value and the dignity and worth of the 17 million Americans that are going to lose access to healthcare. And I think that you saying that you would prefer to take home a couple hundred extra bucks per year at the expense of destroying the lives of millions, and then just merely saying, well, Dean, you're pro-choice, that's not a sufficient, response. Like actually answer for your own cruelty. Explain to me how you could justify taking home a couple hundred extra bucks per year at the expense of destroying the lives of millions of Americans.
Should you worry about your own family before other people?
Should you worry about your own family before other people? In some senses, yes. In some senses, no.
Okay, well, that couple $100 makes me provide better for my family.
Okay, but what about all the other families that are going to be absolutely destroyed because they no longer have access to food stamps? They no longer are covered under the ACA, and their quality of life is significantly diminished.
Now that I have a couple extra $100, I'll donate it to the church to help other people.
Okay, so basically, no matter what the effect on the lives of others is, as long as it benefits you, you like it?
The church helps other people all the time with those issues.
I know, but that couple hundred extra bucks going to the church isn't going to be spent to cover the healthcare for millions.
Okay, I can't save millions, and nor can anyone who voted for Trump.
Actually, yes, you could have by voting against Trump.
No, because they're both bad.
Oh, so you think that Kamala Harris would have defunded healthcare for 17 million Americans?
I'm against all government, yes.
Okay, go ahead and justify that claim that Kamala Harris would have taken away healthcare from 17 millions of Americans.
I never said that, but she would have done other things.
Okay, what would she have done that was morally comparable to that?
She followed policies that I just didn't agree with, such as
like what? What was morally comparable to
the Second
taking away
Amendment
healthcare from 17 million Americans? Oh, being a threat to the Constitution. Donald Trump explicitly called for the termination of the Constitution, and during his first administration, he passed gun control that violated your Second Amendment right until SCOTUS overturned it nearly 3 years later as a bump stock ban.
That's not what we're debating, though.
I'm merely showing you how it's hypocritical for you to suggest that you're okay with Donald Trump stripping away healthcare from millions because you think that Kamala Harris was anti-2A, even though her and Biden passed no gun control that violated the Second Amendment, and Donald Trump did.
Well, Biden didn't do anything. He just kind of sat there.
He actually passed more policy than Trump.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify, without the pivots and deflections this time, do you or do you not ultimately support a bill that's going to reduce the quality of lives for millions of Americans, taking away food stamps from hardworking families, so all of a sudden they're only able to give their children 2 dinners a week instead of 7, taking away healthcare from millions of Americans, including homeless vets, homeless children, and disabled adults?
I'm a vet, so I can speak on it.
So then you definitely don't support the fact that the Republicans in the Senate rejected an amendment to the Big Beautiful Bill to protect access to food stamps and SNAP benefits for homeless veterans.
No, all right. So when you're that much in debt, right? How do you get out of debt?
How do you get out of debt? By definitely not by spending the most money that's ever been spent on a single bill in American history.
Well, see, I can agree with that. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's the BBB. That's what the BBB does.
No, well, you just said they're cutting benefits, so wouldn't that be saving money?
So they're cutting benefits, and they're spending more money than they're cutting.
And what are they spending it on?
Yeah, for sure. An extension of Donald Trump's tax cuts, primarily.
More Border Patrol agents.
$120 billion on ICE. Like the total net impact of the bill in our debt is $4 trillion.
So more Border Patrol agents, right?
Right. $125 billion on ICE.
Is that not okay to support that?
I don't think it's okay to support that with a reallocation of funds away from healthcare for low-income Americans. And absolutely not, no.
Well, why is it everyone's job to help low-income Americans?
Well, I definitely... Are you saying why is it the job of our government to do what is responsible with the taxpayers' dollars and ensure that they're spent most optimally? I mean, can we agree that it's more optimal to spend money on health care for Americans in poverty than tax cuts for billionaires?
Yeah, because I think it should be up to the community. I don't want my dollars going to something I have no idea what they're spending on or who they're going to.
Well, we have an idea of what the money is being spent on when we spend it on healthcare.
Like what?
But we don't have on healthcare. But we don't have an idea of where the money's being spent on when we spend it on tax cuts for the ultra wealthy.
Okay, so for instance, all right, so it's for healthcare.
Wait, answer to what I just said. Like when we spend money on the ACA, it's money spent on healthcare.
I'm answering that right now. So the average middle class, blue class worker who's paying healthcare through a company, right? Who pays thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but then the person who doesn't work or whatever just gets it free.
Oh, and you don't like that? Well, guess what? The BBB is actually going to increase annual healthcare premiums for the average middle class American by $26,000 a year.
That's what it says.
You silly goose. And then also why do you, sure, I'll happily give you a source. And then also, why do you think that it is okay to give some government health care to Americans in poverty for free, while then having the average middle class American pay a couple $1,000s for their premiums? Is it maybe because if low income Americans also had to pay the couple $1,000s for their premiums, they wouldn't be able to afford it and they would fucking die? I don't know. Just an idea, sir.
Yeah, no, that doesn't resonate.
No, that's not the reason. Well, then what is? Please tell me.
So what's your solution to that then? How do you get the low income people the stuff they need?
I'll answer your question after you answer mine.
What's your question? Sorry.
Well, I mean, you said that it's unjust that the average American pays a couple $1,000s in premiums for healthcare, then low-income Americans get it for free. So, is the reason that is the case is it maybe because if that low-income American also had to pay the thousands of dollars in premiums, that they wouldn't be able to afford it and they'd fucking die?
Potentially.
Oh, so you see where I'm coming from? Obviously, we
there's a difference.
Obviously, we don't want them to fucking die, so we're going to give them free healthcare.
Okay, and who's going to pay for it?
Who's going to pay for it? You, me, and every other taxpayer in this country.
Why?
Why? Because we don't want them to fucking die.
And that's the reason we should all give all our money away and not put it towards our families.
That's the reason why the money that we pay in taxes should have some allocation for the social safety nets. Don't you think that's how you make the
middle class poorer to become the poor then?
No, actually, this only makes the middle class stronger. Because guess what? When we have low-income Americans that aren't focused on their very immediate needs to prevent death, such as healthcare or food, well, then they're not just going to claw at the closest job in proximity of them, regardless of the wages in which they'd make, and instead can dedicate some of their time to going to school, getting a degree, or future planning a career. Okay,
Like I could
and then
understand.
no, you're not going to interrupt me, little boy. And the reduction of
I'm
this.
older than you, actually. So
I'm
you're
not
the
calling you a
little boy.
little boy because of how many times your body's been around the sun. I'm calling you a little boy because of your lack of empathy, your lack of intelligence, and your very low level of mental acuity. Now, if you're going to allow me to finish
Actually, I
here,
would say the
what
liberals have
happens?
lack empathy.
I mean, you're up here telling me that you'd rather people fucking die than spend, I don't know,
You
$5
feel
out of every $100 that you make on healthcare for low-income Americans.
you
So I
guys
don't
are
know
okay
about
with
that.
killing.
And I'll happily let you make the argument that we're okay with killing babies after I finish what I'm saying, but you actually got muted there. I didn't mute you. My mods didn't mute you. No clue what happened there. But anyways, so you said that it actually makes the average American poorer when the average American has to pay some taxes for social safety nets for low-income Americans. And that's not true. So the social safety nets actually galvanize the middle class, galvanize the average American, and are better fit for them. And the reason why I say that is because when low-income Americans don't have to focus on their super immediate needs,
Are better fit for them. And the reason why I say that is because when
hey, Pud, you got to mute.
focus on their
You got an
super immediate
echo,
needs.
so you got to go in and out of the app because you have an echo. You got to fix. You got to fix.
Well,
That.
so you gotta go in and
Bro,
out of the
are you even listening to me? Don't unmute yourself.
I'm going. My phone's tweaking.
Don't unmute yourself. Swipe in and out of the app. Why? Stop unmuting yourself. You have an echo. Swipe in and out of the app. Fucking hell. Only have to repeat it 5 times. Jesus.
Is it better now?
It is. I wish that you would have listened to me the first time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I was trying to say
Okay.
without like the billion interruptions from you. So you
Okay.
said that the average American paying some taxes into social safety nets for low-income Americans makes the average American poor. That is not true. Those social safety nets actually make the average American a little bit richer and regalvanize the middle class. The reason why I say that is because when we can ensure that these social safety nets exist to address the immediate needs for low-income Americans that need it, such as food or access to healthcare, etc., well, then that average low-income American isn't going to be as focused as they would have been on those immediate means with the social safety nets. So maybe instead of working 60 hours a week to ensure that they could feed their children every day, they'll get access to SNAP benefits, and instead they'll work 40 hours a week and then spend the additional 20 on maybe going to school, getting a degree, or going into a better trade so they could better future plan and scale their income over their lifespan. And what this amounts to is the economic theory of social mobility. What social mobility is how easy or hard it is for one to scale their income and move from a low income bracket to a higher income bracket. And what we know is that the more social safety nets a country has, the more economic mobility their average citizen has.
That would be a great prescription, and I agree. However, that's with an assumption that you're saying that low income people that are in the poor are actually going to thrive to do those things.
It's not an assumption; it's a proven empirical fact, sir. Like
Ah,
we literally look at countries with more social safety nets; they have economic mobility. We look at countries with less social safety nets; they have less economic mobility.
so you could easily disprove that by saying if you find one or a group of people that have been on SNAP benefits their whole life.
So no, that's not how you easily disprove that, because we're going to be looking at what happens on average. You can't just point out a few fringe cases and say like this is going to refute the theory. I could give you like an example of your logic here. Like, could we agree that like the higher your income is, like the more healthy you are, generally speaking, the longer your lifespan is?
Okay.
But would you say that, I don't know, some like crazy guy could easily refute that by pointing at a billionaire that died from an OD at like 30 years old? No, because
Sure.
that's not gonna, no, the answer there would be no, not sure, because when we're speaking in this generalization, we're gonna be talking about the average.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Right. So you can't refute the idea that more social safety nets would amount to more economic mobility and an ability to scale in an economy, just by being able to point out a couple fringe cases of individuals staying in low income brackets for the totality of their life. And then also, you know, just something that I find crazy for everybody watching. I want you guys to listen closely to what this guest has been saying throughout the totality of my conversation with him so far. Because MAGA has regressed their way down to just straight up saying that social safety nets shouldn't exist. that food stamps shouldn't exist, that free healthcare for low-income Americans shouldn't exist, that social safety nets keep poor people poor and make the average American poorer. Like you're basically just advocating for this dystopian worldview of Lord of the Flies. And that's all because Donald Trump has introduced that worldview on the macro scale with bills such as the BBB. And I think now is the time for you to say that you don't support this policy, you don't support this president, instead of just hopping on board with this dystopian worldview where we're actively advocating for societal regression, ensuring that the next generation grows up worse than the generation before them.
Yeah, I don't concede to that.
Well, let's get a little bit more of a counter argument than
the average person stays on SNAP benefits for 3 years.
I honestly thought it'd be longer. Wow, that only like proves what I'm saying further. The average person is only on them for 3 years. Yeah, this proves that that you're in this low income bracket where you qualify for the SNAP benefits. You receive them to focus on paying for your food and the food of your family, and then ultimately you could use that as a jump pad to scale and grow your income. Thank you so much for further justifying what I was telling you. That's great.
I think someone could definitely improve their life before 3 years.
So do you just think that we should get rid of SNAP benefits then?
No. Like for instance,
wait. Why not?
There's one benefit I will agree that I think is a benefit program such as like WIC. So I believe every first-time mom, regardless how rich or poor you are, you should get WIC.
That's not the question that I asked you. Should we get rid of SNAP benefits such as food stamps or EBT for low-income
To be
Americans?
honest, yes. I believe that. Yeah.
You understand that this will cause
as
people
long
to die?
as there isn't like a disability.
You understand that
or
this will cause people to die. This will cause.
You have no
children to
proof
starve
of
to
that.
death.
You have no proof of that.
Wait, I mean the proof is in the pudding.
Who's died because they didn't get SNAP benefits?
You're basically asking me who would die from starvation, right?
No, because people are forced to feed their themselves. They're not going to There's countries that don't have SNAP benefits. They're not all dying.
Wait, you're saying that I couldn't find a country that doesn't have SNAP benefits for low-income Americans, and I couldn't point out a handful of cases
what I'm telling you,
where we've had low-income citizens from those countries die from starvation?
There are countries that are poorer that people are just dying at massive amounts for starvation.
But we can agree that there is still yet individuals in that country that are dying from starvation because they don't have money to pay for food, right?
Sure.
Okay, well that's what happens when we remove the SNAP benefits. Like for
but
instance,
it's not at a mass amount that you're talking about.
All right, so you're basically saying some level of children starving to death is going to be acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable. The best part about America is that we have communities that would help
if it's not acceptable, then we should. If it's unacceptable, then we should prevent it. The way that we can help prevent it is through social safety nets such as food stamps.
In those poor countries, they don't have communities where people are helping each other. In those specific communities, they're kind of like fend for yourself.
Dude, this is communist rhetoric. Dude, you've literally gone so far right that now you're back on the left. So you're basically assuming that everybody is going to be benevolent and look out for one another.
Yes,
and
I would never let my
neighbor to take care of one another.
However,
it's not the case that the constituents of this country on the macro scale can operate as a family unit and benevolent and look out for one another in a benevolent manner that is completely efficient and productive. And because of that fact, thereby, I would say that we should have some level of forced benevolence, which would be the allocation of some expenditure given the money that we would collect through the government by taxes on those social safety nets.
No, what I'm saying is middle class America shouldn't be paying $40,000 to $50,000 in taxes a year.
But you understand now, according to projections from the University of Pennsylvania, the average middle-class American is going to be paying an additional $500 in taxes per year because of the BBB, right?
That's not true for my income bracket. That is not true.
Well, I mean, then you're not the average middle-class American, right?
Yes, yes, I am. I fall right in the middle of there.
Okay, so you make $55,000 per year.
Close, yeah, sure.
So yeah, buddy, you're gonna be paying more in taxes. Fuck that. I'm serious. These are projections coming from the.
And last time Trump was president, this is my federal taxes did go down.
Well, this isn't the last time Donald Trump is president.
I saw it physically, But you asked why I supported him. I'm just letting you know. Last time he was president.
Wait.
I
I'm so sorry.
physically saw
You're
my
now
taxes
shifting the
go up.
goalposts. I'm giving you a projection from the Wharton School of Business from the University of Pennsylvania on the big beautiful bill. They tell us that
University
everybody
of Bean.
making around $55,000 per year or less are going to be paying more in taxes, and that doesn't even include the additional $400 per year the average American household is going to be paying in additional energy costs because they're sunsetting clean energy credits from the IRA, and this definitely doesn't include the increase in healthcare premiums on the average middle class American. Dude, you are going to be paying more for power to keep your lights on. You are going to be paying more in taxes. And you're basically saying that you support this because there's going to be more poor people dying from starvation and more poor people dying because they don't have access to healthcare.
Starvation. Once again, you don't have proof of that.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do have proof of that. So when we increase
at the richest country in the world, there's just going to be random people dying of starvation.
Yeah, there's going to be more people dying from starvation because of a sunset of SNAP benefits. Absolutely.
I doubt it. We'll see. We'll find out. The bill passed, right? So in a month from now,
I'm trying to give you the proof. I'm trying to give you the proof. I'm saying that more people will die from starvation. Why do you keep equivocating my claim? Why are you being such a ruthless POS? Absolute anti-intellectual. Bro, stop it. Literally stop equivocating my claim. I'm claiming that dude, okay, this guy's rage baiting. This guy's rage.
We'll see.
Are you going to listen to me? No, then actually try to use your brain to listen.
From now, you're not going to see people starving.
Oh my God. My claim is
from now.
Dude, this is unreal. Listen to what I'm saying.
In a month from now,
stop
will you see people
talking.
starving?
Stop talking and listen to me. Are you ready? Okay. You are making an equivocation of my claim. What is my claim? What were the words that came out of my mouth?
I was thinking about how in a month from now, people will not be starving to death.
Okay. My claim was that more Americans will be starving to death because we are sunsetting SNAP benefits. Okay, that is my claim. The equivocation you're making is you're going from my point, which is more Americans will starve to death because of sunsetting of SNAP benefits, to the claim that thereby impoverished Americans are going to start dropping like flies. So without the equivocation, okay, without taking my claim and making it something that it isn't, let's listen very closely here to what I'm actually saying. What I'm actually saying is that there will be more Americans that do starve to death because we're sunsetting SNAP benefits. The reason why I believe this is very clear, okay? One source of evidence for this claim would be empirical evidence, all right? Okay, the closer you are to proximity of poverty or in poverty, the more likely you are to die via a lack of resources, particularly food, water, healthcare, etc. All right? And we know he left. He left. So, okay, that was the first fleshed out conversation that we've had with a Trump supporter about the big, beautiful bill passing. The reduction of that conversation was an old, decrepit man with no empathy and zero brain cells that didn't know how to debate intellectually because he's not an intellectual. He literally has no faculties of reason, fact, or logic. That had whose only tool in the toolbox in this debate format was to take what I said, equivocate it, explode it, and make it sound crazy with no actual rebuttal. Okay, but when I force these people to say, when I force them to listen to the actual words that come out of my mouth in a very calm demeanor, and I give them my argument, what do? They run away, okay? So everybody, this is MAGA. This is MAGA. This is the state of the right. Lie, deny, lie, deny, lie, deny, lie, deny. And as soon as somebody is capable of calling them out on their BS, calling them out of their lies, and making it clear, what do? They run. So if you're watching this live and you're a Trump supporter, are you sure that you want to be associated with these people? Because I want to make it clear, I'm sure that there's plenty of Trump supporters out there that are just simply misinformed. There's plenty of Trump supporters out there that are just simply ignorant. There's plenty of Trump supporters out there that have listened to the man on the TV. I mean, when I watched Mike Johnson give his closing speech before the big, beautiful bill passed through the House not even an hour ago, he said that this was going to reduce the debt, reduce the deficit, and actually make those social safety nets such as food stamps or healthcare stronger. So I could totally get how somebody could be watching the TV, hear that, believe it basically, because it's the literal Speaker of the House, and then still be MAGA. But what I'm trying to do here is prove to you that that's wrong. And the moment I do, I mean, I'd really appreciate it if your takeaway would be, okay, I can't support this bill. Instead of your takeaway being, shit, I'm going to continue to support this bill no matter what.